Welcome back to Meaningful Conversations Live with Beata. Today is a very special day. It's not only 100 episode that I'm coming to you with, but also I have this wonderful, special, unique, oh my gosh, wonderful speaker, guest with me today that I'm speechless. This man, I consider him to be the greatest speaker in the world. I'm honored to be mentored by him. He was born as a twin in a dirty building on the floor and adopted by a wonderful woman named Mammy. And he had many obstacles in his life. One of them was he was labeled as DT, that means dumb twin, and had many reasons to say, it's over, I'm done. But he didn't. Today, as I said, he is the greatest speaker in the world, author, mentor, trainer. Let me just say it. Les Brown, Mr. Brown, welcome to the show.
Thank you. And I want to thank you for the commitment you've made to bring light to people that's in a very dark place, to give people hope, because when there's hope in the future, that gives you power in the present, and to just decide to live a life that will make a difference and impact and inspire and lift spirits. So thank you for who you are and how you're showing up. It's an honor to be here, to be interviewed by you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. And well, all people that are right there with us, Pratibha, Alfonso, oh my goodness, so many, the audience that is watching us are waiting to ask me this first question. So tell me, because you had to have some kind of big dream, some kind of goal that none of the obstacles that you were going through was able to stop you. Today, we live in a challenging days, challenging times. So will you be honored to share your story? How to create this dream, that goal that will take you through all the obstacles in life and become successful?
Well, number one, and you are a demonstration of this, it's mindset. You know, my favorite book says, be ye not conformed to this world, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. The average person do not invest in developing their mind. The average person spends less than $14 on their personal growth and development. So mind transformation is very important because we encounter what I call disruptions, transformation, and choices. There are always disruptions that we're going to encounter in life. And we have to transform ourselves to take in account those disruptions so that we can master them. And then we have some decisions to make. At the end of the day, all of us are basically the same. The only thing that separates us are the choices that we make. And some people, the majority, make choices that does not represent the highest that's in them because they've never taken time to get to know themselves. Most people die at age 25 and don't get buried until they're 65, living a misplaced life.
Wow, that is awesome. Thank you for sharing. And Mr. Brown, so going through all these obstacles in life and creating the great mindset, but you know, sometimes we have strong mindset, but we are still pessimistic and not happy about the life. And you on the stage and wherever you go, you are so happy. Your energy is just out there. So my question is, how to develop an optimistic and dynamic approach to life? How you were able to do it?
It's a process because we know that there's going to always be something. In the movie Forrest Gump, he said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. That's all I got to say about that. And so you have to adopt a mindset that I will get through this. Robert Schuller once said that tough times never last, but tough people do. See, at the end of the day, faith not tested can be trusted. And we have to realize it's easy to have faith if you don't have any problems, you don't have any illness, your loved ones are healthy and doing well, you are financially stable. It's easy to have faith then. But when life shows up like Corona that we never saw coming and snatched the rug out from everybody, and now we afraid to smell or either take in the air of people around us. I was in the room by myself and I sneezed the other day and I ran out. Wasn't nobody in there but me. I said, wait a minute, that's my sneeze. So there is a level of stress and fear and anxiety that people are experiencing right now. And what we have to do is calm ourselves and get still and create collaborative, achievement driven, supportive relationships, because you can't make it by yourself. You want to surround yourself with people who think like you, people who are going in the same direction as you. When I get a phone call, I do not answer all calls. I ask the question. I screen it. Number one, is it positive? Number two, is it purposeful? Is this in alignment with the purpose that I'm here for? Three, is it productive? Does it make sense? And four, is it profitable? What can I do with this? If it's not in either of those categories, I'm not going to give up my time for that, because life has no duplicate. And if you're going to lose something, waste something, lose money, but not time, because you can't get it back. So we have to take it. It's a treasure. It's a gift that God has given us. And we want to use that gift as productively as we possibly can. And that's what you're doing with this show. Somebody that's dealing with depression or anxiety, this program is designed to empower them. This program is designed to give them hope when there's hope in the future. That gives you power in the present. I don't take all engagements to be on people's podcasts, but when I check you out, you're the real deal. I said, yes, I want to be on that show.
I'm honored. Thank you so much, Mr. Brown.
Mhm.
Your story inspires, and you just talk about the gift that we have to pay attention to, the gifts that we haven't shared. And definitely your gift is speaking, but your speaking is so very different from other speakers. And that's why I joined your Power Voice program, because I want to be, no, it's not possible to be another Les Brown in a, in a high heels, but
I'm going to teach you how to be better than me. Don't worry.
yes, but
We are not through yet.
growing.
I believe long-term relationships.
Yes, but so my question is, what is the main difference between good speaker and a great speaker that you are showing people how to be?
Good speakers operate out of the thinking of the Dale Carnegie course, which is a good course. They teach, tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you tell them. Great speakers operate like my mentor trained me. He said, Brownie, never let what you want to say get in the way of what your audience wants to hear. Listen to them, ask questions, and then custom design the presentation to meet their expectations and go beyond that. Include the things in there that they tell you that they're looking for, that will help them to deal with the unspoken conversation, that will help them to look good to their people and to inspire their people to take their performance to the next level. Building relationship capital is very important. When you speak, people are asking three questions. Who are you? What do you have? And why should I care? And most speakers, because they have a memorized script, they don't take the time to go early, ask questions, send in a needs assessment, and get to know who am I speaking to and how can I craft this message so that I can create an experience. The speaking industry has been governed by giving information. When you give a presentation that only gives information, what you do is you only impact two areas of the brain. But when you give a speech and you use your story, like you talked about your mother, who's a strong woman, then now you are activating chemistry in five areas of the brain. We are emotional people. And so you expand the mind, you touch the heart, and you ignite the spirit. And that's the exciting thing, to create a significant emotional event when you speak. And that's important now because people need to know, in spite of corona, in spite of losing their business, in spite of being foreclosed on, and in spite of filing bankruptcy and losing all your materialistic possessions, you have greatness in you. You're not a failure. You have comeback power. A friend of mine, one of my mentees, said a setback is a setup for a comeback. I have a saying: if life knocks you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up.
That is my favorite. Actually, thanks to that quote, actually, I got into your training because I was going through some tough times. And here you are. When life knocks you down, make sure you land on your back. And it's what I did. And I joined your training. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I want to highlight what you just said, that people are not really, the audiences, they're not really looking for information, but transformation. And it's what I learned from you.
Yeah.
So what is the common characteristic, the strength for people that are succeeding in life?
The people that are succeeding in life, number one, they understand the value of self-development. They said that the largest room in the world is the room for self-improvement. That's number one, that we can always better our best. So we must continuously work on ourselves. Number two, the people that are successful realize that you want to be engaged in continuous ongoing learning. If you're not willing to learn, no one can help you. But if you're willing to learn, no one can stop you. And that's what I love about you, because you're willing to learn. And the third thing is, people that are successful realize you can't make it by yourself. You have to create collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships with people that you can learn from, people that will hold you accountable. Mm-hmm. You earn within $2,000 to $3,000 of your closest friends. Sidney Poitier, he wrote a book called The Measure of a Man, and he talks about something in there that I'll never forget. He said, when you go for a walk with someone, something happens. Either you adjust to their pace or they adjust to your pace. Mm. Question is, whose pace have you adjusted to? So we have to look at our relationships and ask the question, what is this relationship doing to me? Am I growing mentally and emotionally and spiritually and financially? Am I learning? Am I becoming a better person? You got to be around the right people, people who lift your spirit, people who challenge you, people who hold you accountable, people that can take you to a place in yourself that you can't go by yourself.
Wow, deep. People, I hope you're writing this down, because this is a golden speech. Thank you so much for sharing, Mr. Brown. I want to go back to your story a little bit because it's fascinating to me. You wrote this many books, but the last one, You've Gotta Be Hungry. So,
Yes.
yes. And my question is, there was an event in your life when you were a child involved your mom, the white kids, and the fountain. And you said that it was the moment that you actually decided what is hunger for you. And can you do? I heard that story in one of your interviews.
The one where when she was working for Miss Harris.
Yeah, the you were drinking some.
Drinking from a water fountain. Yeah, we were downtown Miami, 95 degrees. I let my mother's hand go, and I saw these white kids drinking from a water fountain. When they finished, I went up and I started drinking from it. And my mother grabbed me. She said, "Don't you ever do that again." And she started beating me, punching me in the head and face. And I said, "Mama, it's me, it's me." And she had this crazed look in her eyes. And then a white policeman came over and he was hitting his hand with a nightstick. He said, "Okay, that's enough. You beat that little nigger boy enough. You'll never do that again." And he walked away and he started laughing. And my mother, she picked me up and she started crying. And I asked her, "Mama, why did you beat me like that?" And she said, "Leslie, we can't drink from that water fountain. That water fountain is for whites only. You can't do that." I said, "Why, Mama?" She said, "That policeman, he had a nightstick. Had he hit you with that nightstick, he would have had to kill me. And that's why I tried to distract him." And I knew that I lived in two different worlds. The white kids were laughing and looking. And I knew then that if I was going to be able to buy my mother a home, and that was my childhood dream, I'm a mama's boy. I feel like Abraham Lincoln has said, "All that I am and all that I ever hope to be, I owe to my mother." I'm here because of two women. One gave me life and the other one gave me love. And I was determined that I was going to buy my mother a home, but I knew I had to do it against all odds. And so, but I realized people that are hungry will find a way to win. People that are hungry, no excuse is acceptable. People that are hungry, take no prisoners and eat the wounded. Nom, 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 nom.
Love it. Love it. So this is very challenging for many of us to understand the hunger. So if you could maybe involve more about that. Yes, I know that the mindset is important. You are hungry for a dream that there is. So what you do with doubt and fear?
That you realize that doubt and fear are choices, but so is having courage. That's a choice. That what you want to do is focus on your courage, on your faith, and faith not tested can't be trusted. And you want to control your mind. You don't want your mind to control you. I encourage everybody that's listening now to go to hungrytospeak.com, because when they go there, they're going to find a set of motivational messages that I give out free called Choosing Your Future. If they listen to those every day, it will overpower the doubt and fear that all of us have and begin to program their thoughts to serve them so they can begin to start living their faith and their dreams rather than their fears and their doubt. You want things that you put in your mind that feed your faith and allow your doubts and fears to starve to death. So go to hungrytospeak.com. They'll see an interview with me, a training I'm doing with my son on speaking. This is free. And they'll be able to get a motivational series called Choosing Your Future. It's possible. It's necessary. It's you. It's hard. It's worth it. It's done. Stick a fork in it.
Yeah, oh my goodness, this is my favorite. It's possible. It's possible. It's
Yes.
necessary. I love it. Mr. Brown. Um, yeah, just a reminder for everyone, hungertospeak.com, hungertospeak.com. And I will post it under the video when we are done. But I would like to ask you as well, for those that would like to get maybe more, they need more Les Brown in their life. It's just the need, it's necessary. So how do we make it possible for them?
Well, I'm now doing one-on-one coaching with
Right.
people that are serious, and they can email me at lesbrown77@gmail.com or lesbrown at hungry to speak. lesbrown at hungry to speak. They can email me there as well. I work with a few people who are serious and hungry to live their dreams, hungry to live a life that will outlive them, hungry to make a greater impact. Horace Mann said we should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind. And this is what you've decided to do. To make a major contribution. You've decided, I'm not going to settle. I want to do more with my life. I want to create a presence so when I'm gone, people will miss me. You got it like that.
Yes. So the show is about meaningful conversations, and we obviously have the very meaningful conversation here. Do you remember maybe one of your most meaningful conversations? Who was it with?
The most meaningful conversation, I would say, was with my mother. We were going on Miami Beach, and I think I was around 10 years old, and they had signs on Miami Beach at that time: Jews, dogs, and coloreds not allowed. There were places on Miami Beach that dogs can go that people of color could not go. And I said, Mama, why do they have signs up like that? She said, they're haters. And I said, why? She said, I don't know, but don't you ever be like them. God is love, and he who dwelleth in love dwelleth in God, and God in them. And so what governs me, I love people. What governs me, that when I get up in the morning, I say, Lord, whatever I face today, together, you and I can handle it. All things work together for good for those who love God and for those who are called according to his purpose. I believe that we have a calling on our lives. A job is what you get paid for. A calling is what you're made for. You were made to do this show. I was made for speaking, and so you are too. You have a voice, you have a story, and you want to use that to activate the greatness in the people that hear you, who's in a very desperate situation, and let them know that they're more than a conqueror, that he'll never leave you nor forsake you.
Preach, please. Oh, beautiful. Mr. Brown, let me see. Is it okay if we have someone from the audience asking you a question?
Absolutely.
So please ask the question, ladies and gentlemen. I want to ask, our time is, you are busy, I know, so our time is almost over. So
it's up, but I love talking to you. You ask good questions.
I love talking to you. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. I'm wondering about what would be your advice for young people today that are not quite sure how to find their greatness? What would be your advice?
I would encourage them to experiment and find out what resonates with them. I used to be a photographer. I used to be a disc jockey. I used to be a state representative. I was a community activist. I used to have a television show. I experimented to find what is it that resonates with me. And sometimes there are a lot of things that we can do. Life is for living. That's why we're here. Herein my Father glorified that ye bear much fruit, and that we're to be fruitful. We are to live a life that will outlive us. And so I say there's no duplicate for life. All of us have an expiration date. And I remember being in Las Vegas, and Frank Sinatra, the late singer, he said to a young man, live each day as if it were your last, because one day it will be. And so I think it's very important right now. If the coronavirus doesn't teach us anything else, is to live in the moment, to do what we can, where we are, with what we have, and never be satisfied, to look for ways in which we can serve. The greatest among you will be your servant. And so today I'll be communicating with people that in Dallas, Texas, and Austin, Texas, that's going through a tough time now. And there are people, homeless people, that's out in the cold in different areas of the country. So we are creating a strategy on how we can get them coats and blankets and get them food and shelter. All of us can chip in. Evil prevails when good men and women do nothing. And I think the challenges that we are facing is that those who operate in darkness are working harder than the good people. I'm reminded of Bob Marley when he was doing a concert. After the concert, a reporter asked him, said, I understand you were in a situation where you were shot. And he said, yes. He said, you're Bob Marley. Why didn't you take off? And Bob Marley said, and I'll never forget this. He said, people who do evil in the world don't take a day off. Why should I? Wow.
Wow.
Yes. And so I think this is the time that we all have to step up. Benjamin Franklin said, until those who are unaffected are as outraged as those who are affected, change will never take place. The reason I keep my kids' pictures here is to remind me, building a legacy. A good man leaves a legacy for his children and his children's children. So they're speakers and authors and trainers. They run the company and they try to run me. Talking about I'm old. Don't you let this 76 fool you. I still got the fire. I taught you everything you know, but I didn't teach you everything I know.
Mr. Brown, we have a lot of questions, but the one that is repeating is what is the best way to become a really good speaker? And someone else asked, what is the way to become the best motivational speaker?
Okay, let me answer that for you. When a losing team have a bad season, what is it they do? Do they fire the players? No. They bring in a new coach, a winning coach. You want to get someone to coach you who has trained eyes, who's accomplished what it is you want to accomplish, who speaks on a level that you want to speak on, that you can develop a relationship with, that as a result of that relationship, it will accelerate your learning, and it also positions you to develop instant credibility with their endorsement and as a result of the association. And it will also allow you to learn new ways in which you can earn money faster. In this place where we're gone from brick and mortar to click and order, the majority of presentations now that speakers and trainers and life coaches are doing, it's virtual. Virtual. That's amazing. I'm not getting on an airplane anymore. That is special. I love that. I've flown to countries all around the world. I enjoy speaking from home in my Mickey Mouse underwear, but I'm not showing.
Oh, that's bad.
Yes. So yeah. So if anyone that's serious and want to invest in himself and want one-on-one coaching and be exposed to the techniques and strategies that can accelerate their growth. I don't like being in line. Me, I'm a person, when I do something, I'm all in. I want to learn everything I can. And I like to work with people who are hungry, so they can email me at lesbrown77 at gmail.com. 7 is my lucky number. lesbrown77 at gmail.com. Mention that I was on your show and that they're interested in my one-on-one coaching, and we'll send information and an evaluation form to see if it's a good fit.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yes, I work with a limited number.
77.
Yeah, lesbrown77
At
at gmail.com. Yes, I work with a limited number of people. And so I'm excited about waiting.
I'm excited as well. Do we have time for one more question?
Absolutely. You know you're special to me. Come on now.
Come on, up in there, up in here.
Yes, yes.
So we have question from Kristen Brooks. She said, what message do you have for someone that is emotionally broken and trying to rely on their own resilience to overcome difficulties?
Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane, and he asked the disciples to pray with him. I believe, ask for help, not because you're weak, but because you want to remain strong. And ask for help and don't stop until you get it. When my best friend died and I was holding his hand, saying, I'll see you on the other side someday. When my mother died, I'd never seen anyone die before. I needed help. I had to call family members and friends and people who I encouraged and motivated to help me get through that experience. That life had hit me on the blind side. When I got a call 3 weeks ago that my youngest daughter, who just turned 40, she was diagnosed KV-19 positive. I don't care how old your children become, they're still your children. I cried. I was nervous. I was fearful. I called her and said, baby, how are you doing? She said, Dad, it's rough. I'm in pain and discomfort. I can't smell and I can't taste. I said, well, okay, well, what are they saying that you should do? Well, they're backed up in the hospital. I can't go there. And I got a fever. She said, but there is some good news. I said, what? She said, I can't smell. And your son-in-law, my husband? I said, yes. She said, he farts all the time, and now I can't smell him. I said, too much information. Oh, my God. I said, who tells that kind of stuff? I'm your father. I don't want to hear that. No. She said, you asked me. I'm looking for the bright side. But she got through it, and she sleeps a lot. But she got through it. But it was rough. It was rough. I was very nervous. Yes.
Oh, wow. Look for a bright side. That is
yes, that's what she's doing. Looking for the bright side.
Even with, the circumstances are a little bit stinky.
Yeah. yes.
All right. There's so many questions. So this is really the last one. What is the biggest fear you had to step past, Mr. Brown?
I'm so glad someone asked that question. The biggest fear that I had to step past was the fear that no one wanted to hear me, that I don't have a college education. I never worked for a major corporation. Who's going to pay me to teach them how to do something that I've never done? So I used to just go and watch Zig Ziglar and Tony Robbins and Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. And I was a spectator. There are three types of people in life: those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, that was me, and those who don't know what happened. Okay. Out of this pandemic, there will be three types of people: millionaires, billionaires, and witnesses. And the billionaires and witnesses are different, as you know. People who listen to you, they will be a millionaire or a billionaire if they stick to it, but they won't be a witness. So that was it. And a guy was speaking and he just stopped. And I felt like he's talking to me. He said, somebody in this audience, it just dropped in my spirit, who should be up here speaking with this mic. And you convince yourself that you're not good enough. He said, I'm going to say this and I'm going to just move on. He said, the reason you're seated out there, and I'm standing up here in your dream, holding this microphone, I represent the thoughts you have rejected for yourself. Mm. Whoa. That was a punch in the stomach. I got up. At that time, you could make a phone call for a dime. I ran out to a phone booth and called my mentor, Mike Williams, and said, Mike! He said, yes, Brownie, take it easy, calm down. I said, no, I'm not rejecting myself anymore. He said, Brownie, come on, take it easy, man. I said, no, I'm not rejecting myself anymore. I've been rejecting myself, saying I'm not good enough. I said, I want to speak. My mother has breast cancer, and I promised her she will not go to a nursing home, and I will take care of her. And I can't do that with a job. I've got to believe in myself. I've got a story, and I can speak and take care of her. I said, will you help me? And he said, yes. And I believe, ask for help. That young lady, ask for help, not because you're weak, but because you want to remain strong. And ask for help and don't stop until you get it.
Amen. Don't stop until you get there. And you, oh my goodness, there's so much that you just shared that we have to listen like 100 times again, over and over again, to get what you just said. You said also in one of your interviews that the biggest challenge for people on the way to their greatness is going from believing to knowing. Yes. So how do you do it?
Believing is in the mind. Knowing is in the heart. Where your heart is, there your treasure is also. What's in your heart? Because if we take the time to listen, to get still, to listen to the still small voice within, that we will be guided. We've all had moments in our lives when we said, boy, if I had just listened to my first mind. We've all had those types of experiences. Most of us don't listen to our heart because of mass distractions. We are distracted in this noisy world. This is the attention economy. Everything is fighting for our attention. But we need to pay attention to our heart, to why we're here, the two most important days in our lives. Mark Twain said, the day that we were born and the day we realize why we were born. What is it that you do naturally that people have complimented you on, but it's so natural to use? No big deal. You just say, well, what is that? That's no big thing. The gift of gab. I didn't think that was any big deal that somebody would pay me $70,000 an hour, or outside of the country, $225,000 an hour.
Yes.
I didn't know. When you listen to your heart, eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor has entered the heart of mankind what God has in store for you when you start living your making.
And don't stop until you get there.
Absolutely. Yes. Even a broke clock is right twice a day. Keep moving.
It's so true. Just so true. Mr. Brown, I'm honored to have you here, and I want to bring that words that you shared with on one of your millions of interviews and speeches, but they are so close to my heart, and I want to share with others. You said, live your life from a place of love. Live your life from a place of faith and give the world your best. Also, die empty.
Yes.
How to die empty?
Act on your ideas and your dreams. Become a risk taker. Viscott said, if you're not willing to risk, you cannot grow. And if you cannot grow, you can't become your best. And if you can't become your best, you can't be happy. And if you can't be happy, then what else is there? I like what Helen Keller said. She said, life is short and unpredictable. Eat the dessert first. So we are here to walk by faith and not by sight. We are here to call forth those things that be not as though they were. Live full, die empty, rob the cemetery, as Miles Monroe would say, of your dreams, of your talents, of your book, of your voice, of your story.
I have to take it in. That's so deep, so beautiful. Thank you, Mr. Brown. It was an honor to have you here. Is there any last thought, last quote, or words that you want to leave our audience empowered and inspired, so they don't quit until they win?
Here's something. When I speak to audiences, I ask them, how many of you know if you had your life to live over again, you could have done more than what you've done thus far? And I raised my hand and they raised theirs. I said, here's something I want you to consider. You want to look at your life and you want to make yourself available to this quote. Be willing to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. Others don't see the value of learning continuously. Most people don't understand the value of discipline, of focus, of challenging yourself, of stretching yourself. Most people don't see the value of that. Be willing to do those things, and you will live a life that you can be proud of. Horace Mann said we should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
And me too. Mr. Brown, thank you very much. Happy birthday one more time.
Thank you.
Hope you will lead us with this great message and impact people for another 76 years young. Yes. And say hi to Tyron.
Yes, most certainly will. That's my buddy. Tyrone, she just said hi.
I know I tried to schedule our interview with him, but my broken Polish English and his squirrels, we didn't communicate really.
I've been to Poland. I had an incredible time while I was there. Enjoy.
I listened to your speech when you were there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Fantastic.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Beautiful.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. And
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. And everyone, please connect with Mr. Brown, send the message, and I will drop all the links that you will know how to connect directly. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye for now.